And we are live. Welcome back to my compadre in crime, Miss Laurie, the writer, engineer, and creator of Path of the Pale Rider. So, welcome,
Yes.
Laurie. Been a
Hi.
while. Thank you for coming on again.
Yes, thank you for having me. It has been a little bit. We last time I saw you was at Cowtown. So it's nice to see you.
It was fun. Cowtown, it was busy, but it was kind of slow at the same time.
It was
Like
weird amalgamation. It was like there's a ton of people here, but it was so spread out where it didn't seem like there was a ton of people there. But there was.
there was a ton of people, but the problem was nobody was buying either for a lot of it. And it took a while. I mean, that first day was like, okay, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
But that's how it is, though, sometimes, especially when you're starting out. Like, from my side, being working in ethereal, right? Like, we were starting out as a new company, around different areas to get the word out. Whereas for charter side, right? Y'all been there for a long time. Y'all been running
Mm-hmm.
Cowtown. Everybody knows everybody. I mean, I've known you guys for years, so
Right.
it's a little different. So, but it was good. I'm not sure if that was the best location
Right.
because a lot of people had a hard time coming in, getting out, and stuff as far as the customer side of the house. So I think maybe next time we go back to the other side where we were at before because it seemed like that was a little better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure. I know I was talking with Chris and Kim, and they were talking about just moving the whole con out of Fort Worth area. So I'm not sure what they're going to do, to be honest. I mean, Will Rogers wasn't bad. I liked Will
I liked
Rogers.
Will Rogers.
I think one year we went, there was some trouble just because it lined up with the first day of the Texas State Fair. So
Mm.
we had some traffic issues there. And then Dickies Arena is a nice place, but I don't know. There seemed to be just a ton of problems with
Well,
Dickies Arena itself. So,
and that was the hard thing too, right? Like when I came the first day to do loadout, right? Was trying to like, okay, what part of Dickies do you go to, right?
right.
And then so you're driving around the circle. You're like, oh, okay, I see Chris. There's McLean. Okay, that's where I go in, and then load
Yeah.
out. But it just, I don't know. I think we should go back to Will Rogers. It seemed like to me it was a little more. I don't know how to say like
The
it was.
setup was easier.
It was easier, but it had that finesse to it, right? Of like, yeah, it was. We had a big circle, right, and it made it a lot easier for everybody. So I enjoyed that one.
Me too. I liked it there. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see wherever they go. Wherever they go, I'll go too. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna be there. So
Same here. I mean, I'm always gonna go either working, helping you guys out, me doing mine, or just showing up. I always have a good time with everybody there. And I will say it was fun to actually be on the other side of the table, right, at this one because getting to see the interactions and working with everybody else, right, and like there was a different camaraderie of working behind the table versus being the
mhm.
customer, right? you
Yes.
know and it's like, and it was fun with you, me, Lacey, and April
Yeah.
and Ken,
DJ was there.
DJ. Yep.
Corey was there. Ken. They were just we were all together. It was great. The only person I wish that was there was Gilbert. For some reason,
Oh
Gilbert got
yeah,
set up on the other
he was
side. I
all
was
in the
like, ah.
he was like, oh, and like Gilbert walked over. I'm like, where are you at? Oh, I'm all the way in the corner. They put, like, why are you in the corner? You were like, you should be right here next to Lori.
I thought, we were hoping he would have been, but I don't know. I don't know what happened. That's
So
okay.
let's talk Path of the Pale Rider for a little. We won't get to the Kickstarter
Sure.
yet, but we'll talk about the last issue that
What
came
did you
out.
think about issue 5?
I am happy. I'm excited. I'm waiting to see what 6 is going to be like, right? Because me, I go
Yeah.
on a binge read for a while, and
Uh-huh.
so I went and read all 5 together again.
Mhm.
Especially and I will say too, right? When we went from the black and white number 1 to the color,
Yes.
it was a big difference. It really
Yes.
was a big difference. I love black and white, which I mean the whole series could be black and white, and I'd be okay with that. Just like Walking Dead was,
Mhm.
but the color really made it pop out, right? Like it really pushed it to that next level on number one. So I highly advise if you can get both versions from Laurie, you better get it fast because I don't know how many you have left.
I think I got just like a handful of the black and whites left. But the cool thing is, and you have one of these, when we do trade paperbacks, I will print like a miniature version of the trade in black and white.
Yep.
So you can still experience the whole series in black and white if you get there early enough to get your hands on one of those limited mini trades.
Yeah,
So
I love those. Keep bringing those out every couple 4 issues. I'm good with that, because I always like those little, like, it reminds me like when I was a kid, right? When you go to the grocery store, right? They used to have Archie comic little almanacs, like books like that, right? It'd be about this thick, about the same thickness as the one you had. But it was always fun to read those, right? Because it was like you had a lot of stories you could read off of.
I have one of the text blocks that I never finished. For whatever reason, I wasn't happy with it, but I have a few of these that are still, so it's about this big. It's a little bit bigger once the cover is on it, but yeah, isn't that cool? Where it's just like,
here, let me grab it real fast. I can show everybody
everything in black and white. Yeah, and it just reminds you of those pocket comics, right?
Yes. Okay, so that's the trade.
Yeah. And that was the point, was like you would get one of these and one of those. So you would get it in full color. So that's the one, you're supposed to read. And these ones are just fun to experience as well. And they're handmade by me. So I'm looking forward to making more of these when we get to the next trade. There it is. You got the blue one, right?
Yep, I got the blue one.
Yeah.
And it's really cool too, because like the way you did the inside of it, right? You have the
I had different skull paper and I painted the edges. I bought a guillotine, so all the pages are nice and smooth. Yeah, I learned a lot making these. They're nice. It turned out well.
It did.
And I really enjoyed them because I sold every single one of those. I was like, there's only 10. And I think there was one person who grabbed one early and then canceled. And then I just went and announced it. I was like, there's a spot open, and someone grabbed it. It was like 10 minutes later, it was gone again.
That's good. Especially with how much work, like you can tell how much work you put into this. Like this is a lot of work, especially with the felt. And then you have all this border in all of this. It's like, and then it's all recessed, right? So you can feel like all. So now, how did you do this part? Did you have to like iron it onto the felt, or how did you do that with the skull?
Yeah. So it's book cloth, Nathan. So it's not felt, it's book cloth. It's cloth specifically for book covers, right? Okay. And it's really neat because it comes on a roll, and it's cloth on one side, it's paper on the inside. So it glues nice and smooth. And so I make the inside, the hardcover out of chipboard. I bought all the special tools to like measure to make sure they're accurate, blah, blah, blah. And then that's HTV. So heat transfer vinyl. And then I cut it on my Cricut. I designed the cover myself. And it was cool because people would choose like the color of their skull. And then some people were choosing different color on their book cloth too. I was like, well, okay. If I had it, then I was like, sure. I sent one out that was super cool. It was purple book cloth and green. It was like green and purple and silver. It was so cool. It worked really well. Another person got purple and black with like a holographic skull. It was like, oh my gosh, people are really creative. So, but yeah, now I did those, I think, with like just a regular clothes iron because they're small. But now I have a t-shirt press. So I can make the whole thing at once. It's great.
That makes it a lot easier.
I've been making more. Yeah. So I learned that, so the cover, before I glue it, the text block in, it lays nice and flat, can go right on that t-shirt press. And it's just like, put everything in the right spot, push it down, take it up, and it's good to go. So, because I did a bunch for Christopher Brown when he did his novel for Slaughterville. Okay. And he had a tier on his campaign where they could custom build their book. So I did 10 of them for him. And so that was a lot of fun. That made life easier having that press.
I guaranteed it. So we were the guinea pigs,
Mhm.
and now you are a professional.
Yes.
Good.
I would say I'm amateur. I'm still learning. There's new techniques I'm trying all the time. Well, let's see. Because I redid my trade paperback, and now
Ooh.
the big one. There's problem with this because they don't make decorative paper that big. And so
Yeah.
I was trying to like line the paper with other things. I still have to find a solution for that. Maybe I use like wallpaper paper or something like that. Because that I was like, this looks okay, but it's not what I wanted. But other than that, it's fine. But I also learned how to do like the interior bookmarks. That was fun. So you have your bookmark that runs through the book and then comes back down. So I have little bear claws.
I
on
want
this
one of
one.
those. I
No.
want one.
Let me do it a couple more times. I'm like, I did this one and I kind of wished I could do it again, maybe wait a little bit longer. Because the other thing I did, I used like leather for this and it's too thick. So if you look what it did, it warped the
The
front
top
cover.
Yeah.
So it doesn't sit flat anymore. Yeah. So I was like, okay, can't do that. So I have ribbon. Ribbon works fine, but unfortunately can't use the leather. I thought it would be like a real rustic look, but it warps the book. Don't like it. So, but yeah, so this was fun. And I spray painted the book cloth. I don't know if I would do that again.
Yeah, that might, but it's got a good like look to it, that black and red, kind of crimson look.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I think the skull turned out really nice with the black with the kind of the silver overlay. I rebound the Green Mile, and I think I did 4 layers. 4 layers is too much. I could do like this one is 2 layers. 2 layers works great where it's like one and then you put the other, but it's like every time you iron, the bottom layer gets ironed a second and third and fourth time, and sometimes it starts to melt.
Yeah,
so
you don't want it to melt
2
too
layers max. 3 layers, you're pushing it, right? 4 layers, it starts to melt. So things that I learn along the way, right? So I could start making some cool stuff, maybe 2 and 3 layers. But anyway.
Now, is that one full color or is that black and white?
Oh, no, this one was it's the color trade.
The color trade. Okay.
It's the same one that you have with the soft cover.
Yeah, see, I'm a hardcover freak, though. I like hardcover. Because I have
hardcovers too.
I have kids. They end up usually knocking off a trade paperback and bending the corner or something. At least with hardcovers, yours is okay. But I had an old omnibus like that, and those old like compendium, kind. And you bend one of those, you're done.
Yeah.
They fall apart.
Or the pages come unglued, they just pop out.
Yeah, the whole
depends on how thick they are, because the thicker they are, it's like they don't glue in all the way, or like you read it too many times and the interior pages just pop out.
My Walking Dead did
Nathan,
that.
I wanted to get your take on issue 5. Your what? Your Walking Dead died?
Yeah, well, my Walking Dead did that from the compendium. It fell apart like that over time.
Yep. Sure did. Those omnibuses. Oh, I wanted to ask you what you thought of issue 5, because issues 1 through 4 is kind of like that first act of the story, right? And it's like we got to know the characters, we got to learn the world, we jump back in time, and issue 5 was that first one where we move forward in time since the beginning of the series, and there's a lot of stuff that happens in issue 5. So I was just curious what you thought of it.
I enjoyed it. I'm glad to see them actually going forward, right? Like, because we were kind of waiting, right? Because the last part we had left off in 4 was they were back in time, right? Because of his mom and everything like that. And then now we go back to we're back into the saddle again, kind of thing where he's still in the cell.
Yeah.
And they're talking and going through. So I'm like, let's push forward. I want to see a lot more. I want to see how's it going to go. because he still doesn't give him a true answer of what really happened.
No, I know.
And that pissed me off. I was like, I was expecting him to, like, but then he is an old coot, so I don't expect 100% everything. But I'm like, come on, man, like, don't go in circles.
It's one of those things about Dwayne where I think he's told the story so many times and people don't believe him that one, he's never had anybody ask him. And two, it's almost like, I'm going to tell you and then you just won't believe me. So why? He's stringing him along. You see what I
Yeah.
mean? To keep him interested, because as soon as I think he feels like if he tells him the story, that Jude's going to be like, you're crazy. I'm out of here. So,
But you know what? I think as much as Jude's been through now, he might believe him. He might. I mean, and like, and
maybe. I know the world is so crazy. You can't, you
it's
never
like,
know.
it's like, I mean, I keep trying to think, like, what would cause something like this, right? And I think about Night of the Living Dead, right? Night of the Living Dead was a perfect example, right? Where they gave you a snippet at the end of the movie of that, hey, there was this gas thing that came from Mars, right? And that's what's starting to
Yeah.
reanimate the living dead. And I'm like, you know what? They could, I mean, I could see that kind of situation happening because of the time frame, right? Like, the time frame of when everything started going to hell is now, right? And so kind of the stuff that Jude's going through is a little bit set in the future, right? And it's like, so you can think about it. What if, and I'm going to go on a tangent here, what if, there was something that fell from like the sky, like a meteorite, right? That's a natural occurring thing, right? And maybe something was on the meteorite, right, that caused the issue.
Well, that's what Walking Dead is.
Yes.
That's their thing. And that's what Kirkman pitched to Image, and then
Yeah.
they were like, when are you gonna tell everybody that it was like a meteorite or alien, bacteria? And he was like, never.
Nope. Nope.
Like, no, we're already past that point. I'm not doing it. So they never told everybody what started that. But if you watch some of the interviews, he was like, yeah, it was a meteor from space with space bacteria.
And he said he did that intentionally,
But
right?
you never know.
Because he did
Yes,
intentionally
he did.
because of Night of
He
Living
totally
Dead.
did.
He was like, I copied Night of Living Dead. He said verbatim because it was his ode to Romero, right? And that was the thing.
It was just not, it's nod to them.
And it's like, and I
But I mean,
100%
in this world, yeah. But in Path, it's like, again, there's so many conspiracy theories that Jude is tracking.
Yep.
So is it food related? Is it virus? Is it alien? Is it government? Is it the rapture? You know what I mean?
Talk
Like, it could be just about anything.
Because you had a post the other day and we were
let's
talking
talk
about
food.
Let's talk about the squirmy food that we were talking about the other day. About a burger still being alive, right? And you challenged all of us. You're like, would you eat it? And I'm like, good God, no.
Would you?
It would come out my damn pores and my butt and everything else. And there ain't no way I'm having no.
Oh yeah, it would wriggle. It would wriggle the entire time, and then on the way out, yes.
And I kind of wonder actually if it would kill you inside, right? Like if it like expands in your.
Maybe.
But it makes me wonder.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
So I wanted to, seriously aside from it too, though, right? If food is now really undead, how long do we have before there is no actual real food left, like meat wise, right? Because if all the cows are really undead now and all the animals come undead, if you try to eat it, it can make you undead. It's really not going to go away. So will they run out of food eventually too, and then go to a starvation mode? I lost you, Laurie. All right. Well, hold on, everybody. We have a technical difficulty. We will be back in a minute. All right, folks. Laura will be right back. She just had to step out for a minute. I hope each and every one of you guys are having an awesome Friday. There she is.
I don't know.
You killed it. You hit the button.
I think someone who shall remain nameless reset the router without realizing that I was on a live stream.
Oh, so we're going to get yelled at.
It's all right. No, I'm not going to yell. I don't have enough energy to yell. I'm still here. So. Anywho, so that burger, yes, that burger, chicken nuggets, they're all going to move. It's disgusting. Hey, have you ever played the Choose Your Own Adventure book?
I have, and I have not navigated it well. I will say this: I die a lot. I'm actually gonna have my kids try.
Oh, there's a page in there where some lady offers you a bowl of soup. I was going to ask you if you ate the soup.
I ate the soup.
Did you? So you ate the moving food. It's gross.
It is. Well, before we got cut off, I actually had a question though about this. So, in seriousness, right? Like, so we have food that is really undead.
Yep.
Are we going to get to the point where people are starving?
Yes.
Right. And the reason why I say that, right, is starvation changes the whole dynamic of a lot of things, right? Like if you don't have enough food to eat, which means if like all the hamburger, all the pork, all those things, right? All those, living things that used not to be living because you ate it are now undead, which means your actual what you can eat is very different today.
Yes.
Right. It's so it actually means most people are now vegetarians, right? Because of that. Because you can't eat meat, so you have to get alternate sources of protein and stuff like that.
But here's the problem with that, Nate. The pesticides don't work. You have undead bugs who, in my opinion, do only really like two things, right? They eat and they procreate. That's pretty much all bugs do well. And they're too stupid to know not to. You know what I mean? And so even though they're undead in my thought, in my world, they would continue to eat the crops, even though they don't need to. So we have a major food shortage, major. And that makes people crazy, right?
It does. I mean, you think about any movie, right? That's the number three things people always want, right? Food, water, and shelter, right? That's the three top things. And in every zombie scenario period, right? That's what everybody's going to have to deal with. But your story is one of the very few stories that actually goes into that piece of the actual food, right? Mm-hmm. And actually talks about it where the food is undead. So people are going to die out really fast, right? Like you could see like in the flashback scenarios, right? It happens really fast, like really fast. You go from normal civilization to it's undead everywhere to where Jude is now, right? The Wild
Mhm.
Wild West. And so you could see like it's not like it's 20 years later. It's not like it is
Right.
30 years later. We're talking like 5, right? Like 4 or 5
Well,
years,
I wrote it. I wrote the original story that it was 10 years into the
10 years.
future. However, in my opinion, when I go back and I look at how we spaced out the time of it, I agree with you that it would happen way faster than even than I wrote it. I
Yeah.
think things would fall apart within a year.
Yeah.
Really, they would. And I mean, when you have starving people and then you have riots, because you're taking away rights from the undead. And it's like in the beginning, it's like, oh, the population is small. We're going to take away their, they can't vote, they can't drive, they have curfew. Now they can't own property. Now we're going to pick them up and take them out of living communities. They start putting all these laws into place, maybe not thinking that that's going to be me
Yeah.
too someday, and no one figured out why it's happening. So it's inevitable that that will be you someday. And you never know how long that's going to take. If it's disease or a car crash or an undead, showing up in your house, just lost their mind. It could be any of those things. And then guess what? Now you're a part of that side. And now you no longer can vote or drive or, be in a living community. And it's like you did this to yourself. They created this chaos. And now they have to deal with the consequences. See how it all works so nice? The consequences.
I like it. And my favorite part, right, is that it's not like your typical zombie, right? Where your zombies are brain dead things walking around just trying to eat people. They're not
Right.
actually doing that.
No.
They're normal people who are undead. Now, granted, you see the levels of degradation over time for some of them, right? But it still doesn't change the way their brains work. You saw some where the aggression started coming out a little bit, and the aggression really, I don't think, was from being undead. It was from being the way they were treated, right? And
Could be. Yeah, it could be both. But it's like when your emotions are somewhere in your brain,
yep,
right? And if that part of your brain is rotting or injured, or it's, and I model these poor undead people after dementia patients.
mm-hmm.
Because I've dealt with dementia in my family with some of my elders, and it's like they get forgetful. Some of them, that's it. They just can't remember, but other ones get violent. Other ones, they will verbally assault you, and it's like they're not even themselves anymore. They can't regulate anymore. And so that's what this growing population is at first it's themselves, but they slowly or fast, does it because it hits them all differently, become something else.
Yeah.
And it's your loved one in front of you, and you're attached because yesterday they knew your name, but
Yeah.
now today they don't know who you are, and they're trying to kill you because they're scared.
They're scared they don't know
So
what's going on.
they don't know. So, you're going to see some things that are darkly humorous. I'm writing the second Choose Your Own Adventure book, and there's
Nice.
someone's grandma walking around the street, and then her robe opens and has just bones from like here to here, and she's just, Nana's lost and they're trying to help Nana, but Nana is really a hot mess underneath her robe. So it's like darkly humorous. Like someone go save Nana. It's not Nana anymore. It's the walking skeleton. And undead bears, and you know what I mean? Like we just we're morbidly funny. But we have a good time while we do it.
See,
Undead puppies. I mean, like, yeah, we're in our prime here.
See, I was waiting for Jude's horse to get back up and start running after him after he got attacked.
After one?
Yep. I'm like,
It
wait a
could have
minute.
happened, but she has another fate. I'm not saying that you will see her again or not, but she has another fate. The bear messed her up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big bear taking on a horse, and that he was laying into that thing, and
yeah, poor Prince. But if it wasn't for Prince taking the brunt of that rage bear, Jude would also have been done right there too.
Yep.
The only reason he survived is he got thrown off and hit his head and passed out. He would have tried to do something because that's who he is. So because he was silent, he didn't attract the bear. The bear kind of forgot he existed because it was too busy ripping apart the horse, and he dragged her off, and who knows where she is at this point. But you could see her again in whatever grisly state that she's in. You might.
See, that makes me think of something too, though, right? So the bear's instinct was still to go after the animal and to eat the animal.
Not to eat. He wasn't eating her. He was ripping her to pieces.
He was, but I wonder if that was instinct, though, like an animal instinct, right? Where it's like, hey, I attack things like that get in my way.
Well, he attacks everybody that's on that road. He's attached to that road. He's territorial. We saw the origins of Big James in issue, I want to say 3. Yes. And there was a news report, and they were like, viewer discretion advised, but we have to show you this so you can understand what we're dealing with, because they were telling people that animals were affected. And then, so he was shot again through the brain. So his part of his brain to regulate is gone. He is a legitimate rage bear. If you wake him up, he turns you into hamburger is the joke. That's how he got his name, because another part of the canon of this world now is Big James Burgers.
Oh, yes.
We made a burger joint called Big James Burgers. And so that's how this bear got his name, is because you wouldn't come back. You would be turned into hamburger. So Big James makes you into burger.
And I love that, because I used to eat at Big Boys, right? When I was a kid. And you see, whoo, he's holding.
Yep. And he's holding the burger with the eyeball.
Yep. And I was like, as soon as I'm like, I know where that came from.
That's Ellie's eyeball. She's watching you.
Exactly.
Gilbert knocked that one out of the park. But he keeps making more and more stuff. So it's like he did that one. We were all excited about it. But then he did the next one. We're like all excited about it. So like that Big James Burgers is like, that's old news to me. Just wait until you see what he's doing next.
I can't wait. And he's so good at it too. Like, I mean, we were talking during Cowtown, like how busy he's been, like going on and on. I'm like, that's good. It's good work. Means, he's got a good job for a while.
Yeah, he's going to be busy with Path for quite a bit. But when I was talking to him before I hired him, I knew Marco was getting really busy, and he and I had talked, and he told me kind of the things that were coming down the pipeline for him. And so I had already started like talking to people. I didn't tell them which project. So I was like, Gilbert, I might have a project for you. I can't say what it is. But if you were interested in doing a comic full time, what are some of the things that you would want in that series? And he was like, well, I'd like, some action. I want, because he's done a lot of one shots for Charter, like Waiting. Yeah. And I think he did another one, I think The Road. And with Chris, he does a lot of one shots. It's the same kind of world that he ties everything together, but you can read the one issue and it tells the whole story. So he was like, I want an ongoing series. He's like, I want some dynamic characters, a large group of them, maybe, and some action. And I was like checking off boxes in my head silently. I was like, yeah, okay. I was like, we have all of those things. And in fact, I was like, when I finally told him, I was like, okay, I want to make you an offer to come draw Path of the Pale Rider. And he was like, oh my God, because he's read the series.
Yeah.
And he knew Marco was working on it, but he was like, you want me to draw Path? And I was like, and not only that, you're going to pick up at a time when the action just escalates.
Yeah.
So 5, we crammed in a ton of stuff. 6, we cram in a bunch of stuff, and it sets up 7. 7 is the big boy, Nate.
Oh, yeah.
7 is the big boy. So out of the 12, which is our arc, 7 is kind of like the ultimate action issue. There's a lot. It's a huge reveal. I don't know. Jude might not make it out alive.
That's okay. You know why? Jude could have a kid somewhere we don't know about. And then and then Jude's kid's got to deal with the aftermath.
He could continue on his quest while he's undead.
Well, he could, but then there's going to be a conscious piece of that, right? He's going to have to figure out, what do I do? right? Like, how do I
Right.
deal with a world where I'm undead now, right?
Uh-huh.
And go through it. So I mean that would be a good twist to it. Um, and I would wonder. So this is something too that I was going to ask you. When they're undead, they know they're undead, right? And there's
Yes.
no feelings, between the people, right?
What do you mean?
As far as like they know they're undead, but there's no like ill advisory. Hey, just because I'm undead, you're undead, I don't hate you because you're undead, right? It's just a common thing. It's a common theme at that point, right? We're both undead, but you,
I I mean, they all approach it differently, just kind of like in the real world. They everybody would approach this problem differently. So some undead get along with everybody, just like some living would get along
mm,
with everybody. Kind of like Dwayne Fink, it just kind of navigates the apocalypse and he gets along with everybody. I think that's kind of a semi spoiler. Sorry, guys.
yeah,
Some people, like in the town of Santa Claus, want nothing to do with the undead,
yeah,
and some of the undead want nothing to do with the living. Then you get people like Lola who will shoot you in the face
yeah.
if because there is an animosity because the way she was treated. So I think it really depends on their individual experience, how they treat everybody, how they react when they see someone maybe from the other side or the same side. You never know. The undead could have their own hierarchy and treat each other poorly too.
And that's what I was kind of going towards, right? Is because I wonder at one point does it become organized, right? As a
Yes.
like a military, right? Where the undead say, you know
Yes.
what, enough of this. We're
There is
tired
an
of
organization. In fact, if you solve the riddle for issue number 5, that's what the riddle talks about. So if you will find a hidden website that has the hierarchy and the history of the undead underground.
I wasn't trying to give it away. So I was
Well,
trying
you still have to solve a riddle to get there. So
yeah. But looking at the situation, right? Like if you have a hierarchy like that, right? And you also have a hierarchy from the living side, right? At one point there's global warfare at point,
yes,
where the heads will come to roll at one point because
at some point,
literally
yes, everything will come to a head, and
and
we're
it's
gonna have to
hard
see what
because you just
happens.
don't know what's gonna happen. You really
And
don't.
I love how you say that because you're thinking ahead because we're talking about the first arc that we're in. This is a
Mm,
much bigger world than what you're seeing just from Jude St. Clair. You know what I mean? You're seeing his personal story, you're seeing his version of it. And you're seeing like his journey to figure out what happens. He figures it out in the first arc. That doesn't mean that he solves it.
correct.
He still has a lot more to do. And so in the second arc, as crazy as the first arc is, the second arc is 100% more crazy because of what you just said. At some point, everybody's going to battle.
Yeah. I mean, it's inevitably going to happen, right? And it just like if you look at any zombie situation, right? The zombies have a common theme, right? And most times it's I want to eat you, right? It's like
Right.
if you go Revenge of the Living Dead or Return of the Living Dead, right? I want to eat your brains, right? If
Mhm.
you go Night of the Living Dead, I just want to eat you in period. If you
Mhm.
go to some of these other ones, like Brandon's Avalon book, right? Like his is
Mhm.
even completely different too, right?
That's an
But
infection. Yeah.
exactly. It's
28
like
days later.
yeah, and that's as soon as Brandon and I were talking about it on his spotlight was, it is just like that, like a vampiric, situation where it's like just like that. You've got it, and you turned like, and
Right.
then. But the funny part was it all was all person based, right? Because
Mhm.
like the partner, right? The partner didn't turn automatically. It took many issues for him to finally turn, but he did turn, and he ended up trying to go after him. I think that once we get to that point too, right? If if we lose some of the consciousness around some of these, the zombies in our book, then it might go down the same path, right? Where
Mhm.
they lose that, right? And it might not be that they eat you; they're just trying to kill you, right? And
Right.
and that's the difference, right? Is that they lose those consciousness and the morality that they had before because they've degraded so much over time that they go into that. So I can see that's going to be a big schematic right across
Yeah.
the world because
Yeah.
even Walking Dead, like even now, right? Like you've got Daryl Dixon in France, right? He's doing his own thing, and like there's a bigger
Daryl
world
Dixon
out.
goes to Hogwarts.
I
Did you
know, right?
notice?
I
That's freaking
know
Hogwarts he went
it
to, and it
was.
was Fleur de la Cour he went with. I was
Yeah,
like, "This is too weird."
yeah. It's just
I'm having a hard time.
like I had a hard time. Like how the hell did you get from Georgia all the way to France?
France.
And it's like,
He
did
was
you
on
ride
that
the
stinking
boat?
boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, because and to be honest, like I stopped watching Walking Dead
I
after they
did
killed
too.
Carl, like because reading the series, I was like, dude, I was like, you killed Carl off. I mean, that was like
I know.
he is the protagonist of the actual story. It isn't Rick, it's
Right. It's
Carl.
Carl. Carl's the one that gets all the way to the end.
Exactly, and I'm like, okay, and I
Cool.
and I understand why they did it, and I also understand why Kirkman was ticked off at those showrunners because of that, because he's like, that's not how
Wow.
I wanted it to do.
I
It,
think Kirkman was wiping his eyes with $100 bills.
I
Whatever.
well, I guarantee you, after the first 3 seasons, yes, because
Yeah.
there's enough
He was
money
like,
off of
I'm so
those.
sad with my millions of dollars that you changed my story. Keep going. I want more
Yeah,
dollars.
and he keeps writing for Image at the time, right? And he's still writing it. I mean, because the story was still going continuously, like
Yeah.
I will tell you, the All Out War was crap in
Yeah.
the actual series, compared to the comic. The
Yeah. And
comic
I
was
think
brutal.
Whisperers was crap.
Whisper,
Whisperers
it
were
was.
crap compared to the
Yeah,
comic too.
they were. I mean, it's like you had the Alpha, and then you had the leader of the Whisper. I'm like, come on now, y'all didn't even use them the way they were using the
I
story. Like,
got bored. Well, you know
uh,
how they had their series where it was like the first half, there was like 6 episodes, and then they would take a break over like Thanksgiving, and then they would
yeah,
come back. So I watched up to the break, and then they went, they came back, and I just didn't come back. I was like, I'm done. I've seen
that's what
enough.
happened to me. They killed off Carl at the halfway point, and I was
Done.
done.
Thank you.
And I'm like, you know what? No, I'm sorry. I'm
But I
like,
think, that's what happens when you have people meddling with your story.
yeah,
Kirkman wrote a masterpiece,
it
right?
did.
He really did. And that's the difference between independent comics and everybody else. Independent comics, you get one writer with a goal, a journey to take you on, and they take you on it from start to finish.
Yeah,
If you're willing to stay along for that long, you know what I mean? If you can come along for the journey, they'll take you on a fantastic ride, and you get that fan payoff, and you get that finale, the tie-ins, and like all the good stuff. It's a difference between watching Breaking Bad and watching Lost. One of
yes.
those is obviously superior than the other,
Breaking Bad.
right? Because they were planning on the ending the entire time.
Yeah,
And that's what you have to have. And that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to take you on a fantastic ride. We're going to get there. And like at the end of 12, you'll feel great. And then on 13, I'm going to bust the door down and blow everything up, and we'll be off on our next journey. I
and
don't know if I'm
see,
going to, should I call it 13 or should I call it the next number 1?
then I would. So this is just me being biased. I would say 13. The
Yeah.
reason why I'm tired of restarting books, right? Unless it's like, if there's a specific reason, right?
It's a continuation, but it's like it's the next arc. It's kind of hard. I wish we could do the same kind of um like Netflix, where
Mm,
it's like season 1, episode 1. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So we're on season 2, episode 1 would be 13.
Well, what you could do, this is how we used to do it in the old days, right, of comics. You could call it book 2, right? Issue
Yeah.
1, and then like maybe somewhere within there, you say, parentheses 13, or
Yeah. Why
something
does it
like
have to be so difficult? Just come read the story.
exactly.
Because trust me, 13 is going to knock your socks off. Like 12 is going to wrap things up nicely. It's going to leave doors open, obviously, so we can continue. But you have no idea what I'm going to do to you in 13. I'm going to make it way worse.
Good. Making it worse is actually making it way better from my point of view.
Because you've had this impression of what you think has been going on all this time. And I'm going to slap you in the face with what's actually going on. And then when you get halfway through the series, it's worse than that.
So, how many issues are you thinking in total? Or have you get
36.
36 total.
Well, and again, it's just like, it depends on how the crowdfunding goes.
Mhm.
I mean, do I number them the same and just have them come out quicker? Because if we start doing bigger numbers, I can release 2 issues at the same time.
Mm.
So I could take, instead of 12, we could do 6. It's the same story, just more pages in each issue, and they come out faster. So I'm not opposed to that. I will adapt to whatever happens. But if we're doing like $6,000 a campaign, then we're getting a 24-page book because I have to pay
Yeah.
$4,000 in art and $2,000 to a print job.
Yeah. Yeah. Carissa and I were talking about that, a couple of weeks ago. We're like,
Yeah.
there is no real money made a lot.
No.
It is because between the art, the printing, the campaigning, the work and stuff that's done
Yeah.
beyond is there's not a lot made. It's more for people to get the story and to
Yes.
understand it, and
Yes.
and then over time that will grow. I mean, you see all the other companies out here, right? Like Coffin, Ethereal, and everybody. That comes from time, is what that
Right.
is.
Yes.
You
Comes
know,
from
and
time.
you
Time and
know,
consistency.
correct. You put your books out, you do what you're supposed to do, and and you communicate. We're great. I mean, there's been some companies lately that have kind of died on the vine like that, right? Who
Mhm.
stopped doing it. And I have a respect for them because they changed their business model, and that's okay. Like some people just don't do Kickstarters anymore; they sell directly, and
Mhm.
that's okay.
That's
It's like
okay. There's
you know,
no one cookie
no,
cutter plan that works for everybody. You know what I
and
mean? There's a nice variety out there so that people can explore what works for them. This is just what happens to work for us, that we do Kickstarter, and then I would love to bust out another story, but I don't know.
I have another story, but I'm going to send it to you later to read.
Oh, don't
So
send it
it's
to me till March, honey. I won't be able to read it.
okay. It's going to be my proposal for a story to Chris for
Ooh,
Charter because you guys kind of fall in line with what I think of for a storyline, right?
cool.
Because we kind of do mostly horror based
Yeah,
stories, and it's kind of hard because depending on where you go, a lot of people are not really they want to hear the superhero, the things like that, But for me, I'm always been about horror. That's why I like our stuff, Aquitas, Coffin, and
yeah,
stuff like that. But I have a story. I've been writing it for a while. I've got a one pager, just synopsis read, just to so somebody could take a look and tell me what they think. But it's a story I've been working on for probably about 15 years.
yeah.
Um,
Wow, 15.
it's just getting it to where I want it to go. And Carissa, she was kind of in the same boat, right? Like she had just had
Yeah,
these stories for forever and ever as
yeah,
novels, and then wanted to change it. And I think comics are a good, platform for that, right? Because a lot of people like that format. I'm noticing there's two types of people. You're either a comic reader or you're a book reader, right?
well,
And,
if you wanna read more of a visual medium, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, because to me, I like movies, animation. Hey,
Mhm.
Ryan. Like, I like more like that. That's me, but comic is like, the in between. So it's
Yeah.
visual, but you're still reading. So you can do it at
Correct.
your own pace. And
Yeah.
then novel, of course, is like everything is in your head,
Yeah.
but you have to read all the words.
And I wanted to kind of see like how would this look in a comic world, right? Like
Yeah.
I mean, my story could be a movie story, right?
Mhm.
Like the visualization. Once you guys read it, I think you could see that it could be a movie, but I don't really want it to be a movie, right? Like it's one of those situations where I wanted to kind of just tell the story on its own, right?
Mhm.
In a platform like ours. So, but yeah, let me know when you're ready, and I'll shoot it over to you. You're a
Cool.
good writer. I trust you.
Well, I can at least, read it and give you some feedback if you would like.
Of course, I am always open for feedback.
Yeah. And next week, yeah, I'm gonna be on, the watch along anniversary show with Ryan Permission, watching The Quick and the Dead. 30 years old. You believe
I
that?
I know. I cannot believe that.
Right, I don't know. LOL, JK. Don't pick on me today. Thanks.
Ah, I'm not picking on her today. She's not feeling.
No, Ryan's good at picking on me. Yeah. I'll be back to my normal self next week, Friday, when I'm on Ryan's show. It'll be good.
All right. Well, let's take a look at your Kickstarter. So let's go and
Woohoo.
get that way everybody can see. Present. Share. All right. So we are on Path of the Pale Rider, issue 6. And so what I will do is I will play this first so everybody can see it. These are awesome.
Thank you. Ta-da.
Oh.
Woo.
And congratulations, you're already funded.
Yeah.
Already.
Whew, we funded quick this time. It was it was just past 24 hours. It was 25 hours we were fully funded. So still going.
Oh yeah, you got 20 days. I'm praying that you get double that before the end.
Oh, that would be wonderful. I would just like to get to I want to get the scratch and sniff stickers. Those are the stretch goals because we have 3 scratch and sniff stickers I want to unleash on the backers because we have a barbecue smelling one, a beer smelling one, and a zombie flesh one.
Oh, I wanted the zombie flesh one.
Yeah, I know. I know everybody's curious. They want to know.
It's going to be putrid
It's super stinky. You're going to smell it and then put it right back in that little plastic bag I send it in.
And it's going to be sealed for the rest of the next 100 years, probably.
Yeah, I'd be like, I'll take it out and gross out my kids and then put it away.
Exactly.
What do you think about Gilbert's cover with the blood pool and Jude?
I like how Jude's half dead in it already.
Yeah.
And you see the knife right into the device, so it's like it's already there, like he's dead. And you can see the difference, right? Like he is,
The knife is important in this issue. So you'll have to follow that knife. That is, of course, the knife of Miguel Blanco. So.
And it says sad pancake there. That's what's sad.
There's so many details he sneaks in there sometimes. I was like, wait, what? Sad pancake?
Yep, I saw that one. All right, so let's see. Yes, definitely. Cocaine Bear.
Yeah, I had to throw it in there. Now, it's funny because we were already on issue 3 when Cocaine Bear came out.
Mm-hmm.
And that was we had premiered Everett Watkins' yellow and black and red cover for issue 3 the same Friday that Cocaine Bear came out. And I was like, man, they're copying me. I was like, not fair. So got to sprinkle in that Cocaine Bear for Big James. There he is.
You do, especially with heads like that.
Yep. Gotta love him. Or be terrified of him, whichever you prefer.
Okay.
I did something different because a lot of times you write your elevator pitch and people just scroll right past it. And I was like, too long, didn't read. You don't want to read the elevator pitch. You can watch this video. I can tell it to you in I think it's 1 minute and 13 seconds or something like that.
I'm just going to tell you, it takes 10 seconds. Buy the book.
Thank you.
Period. Buy the book and read it. It's well worth it. So
Interior pages from 6. This already answers one of the questions that everybody had from issue 5, right?
okay.
Because the last panel of issue 5 was just this black panel and a word bubble that said El campamento cadaver te espera. So Camp Cadaver waits for you. And so here we are in Camp Cadaver. Look at that guy. He's crispy.
You're gonna go see the big man.
I'm gonna go see the big man.
Is that like, he's more like a ghoul looking
Yeah, he's
guy.
like, ah. He's just trying to be intimidating. What cracks me up about these pages is that Dwayne, even though he's gagged, it's just like he's talking. He's like, and they're like, shut up. He's like, okay.
He's always talking.
He's just so fun. I love that character. He's just so fun to write. And then, of course, here is Miguel. And who knows what they're talking about? He was like, tell me where the exit is. And she's like, there is no exit. There's multiple ways in. There's no way out. And he's like, there has to be more. Tell me more. And of course, she's like, there's nothing left to tell. Please, I've answered all your questions. I have a family. And this man has no chill. He just takes her right out.
Yep.
And of course, she's wearing that collector's uniform. So she knows something that he wants to know. And she's dead. But all that means he's going to clean her up and she's going to now be a part of Camp Cadaver. And then he has his sights now honed in on Dwayne and Jude. So dun dun dun. What happens next? Miguel Blanco. You know what? I do these GIFs. I'm going to start making it all into one GIF. Because I was showing off interiors of each. But now that we're like 6 issues into, I'm just going to make one GIF that'll go through like all 6 when we get to issue 7. Because it's getting big. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's cool to see the interiors, but it's like.
This was still one of my favorite parts. Right here.
I love Dwayne on the table.
It is.
That's such a great introduction to a character. And it's like saloon brawls and cowboy fights and undead used as signage.
Yeah, and then we've got, they're coming. First time.
First time experiencing an undead. And MFer sits up and he's like, hey, guys.
Hey, you guys.
Hey, guys. I'm still here. And then, of course, 4. 4 was such a devastating issue with his family, both his mom and his dad. And then getting pushed out into the world and, finding out that it's worse than what he thought, because if you're just at home and you're watching the news, they can't be everywhere all the time.
No.
And so he's out into the world and it's worse. Frying pan into the fire kind of situation.
And you feel so bad for him too.
Yeah, his parents. So at the end of 4, Jude leaves a riot where the undead have been collected by collectors, and he has an encounter with a weird person and then walks off into the distance. So 5 picks up where he's collecting things. He's kind of still on his path to figure stuff out and finds Prince, gets to the grocery store. This is where it's like, we have now caught up in time. This is the Jude St. Clair that you know from issue 1. Yeah. We end up back with Dwayne Fink to find out what he knows, and he only tells you half-truths. And then they have to run off and escape Santa Claus, which is being devoured by a giant swarm of undead blister beetles on fire. That was fun. Did you scan the QR code and watch the video about the blister beetles?
I did not. I need to do that.
You need to do that because those are not ordinary beetles.
All right, so we got Williams
William
cover.
Russell. I get one more cover from William after this one because I just finished writing issue 8 of Psycho Sal. That's in production.
Mm.
And so I will get one more cover from my issue 7 from William Russell. So I'm looking forward to that.
There's
DJ Hall, Sad
Sand
Pancake.
Pancake.
Sad Pancake was an accident. Did you know that?
How'd it come about?
So that scene where in issue 5, where Lola and the gang of the undead, they're in this town and they're pulling living people out of their houses and lining them up in the street to shoot them. And Gilbert, thank you. That's a huge compliment for anybody who's into zombie genre. Thank you, Ryan. Gilbert read the script and he was just drawing and he just does his thing and he drew a puppy lined up in the street with the people. And I just let it slide until, he's drawing the page and we're talking about schematics and how this goes here and how we are all going to fit it and how many panels. And he got to the last panel and I was like, you make sure that Lola shoots that dog. And he was like, what? And like a high pitch. Huh? And I was like, yeah, no, Lola's shooting everything. She wouldn't let that puppy live. And he was like, oh no, what have I done? So Sad Pancake became a thing. I, with my morbid sense of humor, took a close-up picture of living Sad Pancake and put him in the Path of the Pale Rider group. And we ran a poll in that group, and those guys named that puppy. So Sad Pancake is the name that their group decided for this dog. And then, of course, they got issue 5 and found out that Laurie killed the dog. Oh. But, I mean, it's Path of the Pale Rider. If you haven't been paying attention, we killed a horse in the first issue.
Exactly.
So Sad Pancake will return in issue 6. We love him so much. He got his own cover. And this is the very first time that we have deviated from the original script written in 2018. Very first time. So this is what I'm going to be working on this coming week. Gilbert has sketch covers that he's done while he's been at cons, just sitting at a table, and he draws sketch covers. And so he's going to make those available for this campaign. So I think he has an issue 4 sketch cover, and he has 2 issue 6 sketch covers that he's completed that I will put up on the campaign. And now anytime you're getting this, or if you back a sketch cover where you can choose the art from Gilbert, a majority of those funds go directly to Gilbert to pay for his art. Just so you know, he's getting paid.
T-shirt. See, there's my shirt.
You're gonna get the blue one?
I might have to get the big boy.
There's so many new ones. I get a little crazy with these because I make them myself. So really the sky is the limit, right? When you order from someone else, I was limiting it to like 2 shirts a campaign just to make it easy for them. Like you too, right? But when I do them, it's like I can order everything myself, and it's, I order the HTV, I order the shirts, and I put it all together. So that one's new. That's the Great Divide, as we call it, the divide.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the hoodies, too. There's 3 hoodies available. This is a quite popular one. Yeah. And then this one's new as well. So that's the divide. And then Big Boy James, there's a couple. This one is new, the multicolor Big James swipe on a black shirt. This one is new, the Santa Claus tree on red. This one is new, Vicious Big James. I probably will put the Big Jude on a shirt too, because we want it. We just want it. We also are thinking about, the banner from the campaign that Gilbert did with them as Shaun of the Dead. We'll probably make that a shirt too.
You gotta make that a shirt. I want that as a shirt.
That's funny, isn't it?
All right, so we got the 2 covers
up here. I did this last campaign because we always have some beautiful variant covers, and so I'm making it a deal. So it's only an extra $5 to get a second cover. Then the $15 for the cover, and the PDF is $15, and so you could get a whole nother book for $5. So it's a good deal. like I said, I did it last campaign, and I don't think too many people knew it was there. So I put up something so people know it's there, and there's quite a few people in there at this point. So it's a good
And
deal.
I like that, especially like I've seen some people doing like the 2 covers or the 3 covers, right? And you pick from it
Yeah.
because it gives you that opportunity, right, of getting more than one.
Mhm.
If you want, like I've been on many of these campaigns, right, where it's like you don't know which one to choose, right?
Right.
So you end up picking just one, right? Even though
Right.
there's others that you wanted, you end up picking one because we're all not rich, right? We can't buy
Yeah.
everything. But at the same time, right, it's like it gives you opportunity, especially at that price. $20 is
Mhm.
good, especially when most people are charging $20 per book in most
Right.
Kickstarters.
Yeah. So that one gets you the 2 books and the PDF. So you can read the PDF when it drops. Because that we drop that as soon as it's done through edit, and then of course they go to print, and then I can deliver the books. You can read it again and do things like scan the QR codes, look for all the Easter eggs, solve the riddles, etc. So I think there's 2 spots left for the custom pop for Francis St. Clair, this guy. He's the one that I opened up for 5. Then the brand new pop, the new design is called is Jimmy. We call him Jimmy the Cricket. It should be Jimmy the Beetle, but it's our morbid sense of humor. I think it's funny.
Jimmy the Beetle.
Jimmy the Cricket, Jimmy the Beetle. Needless to say, I'm the studio that does those for me are every time I'm like, all right, new pop, they're like, yes. They're like, what are we doing now? And I was like, well, this one has a bunch of holes in it. They're like, yes.
I mean, it's fun,
I think
especially
it's
with these
hilarious.
custom ones. Like if you like, because I like as you guys see him behind me, right, I'm a huge action figure guy, right? I'm a huge
Yeah.
Transformers guy and horror and stuff like that. So when you get to actually put it into a form, like it would be cool. And I'm not going to say hint, but if you had like say Jude as an action figure, right, or if you had Big
Yeah.
James as an action,
There's
or
a
like a
lot
or
that goes into that, Nate. A lot.
it does. I know I've made them.
Well, maybe you can give me some tips, but
What I would recommend it would be a statue first, right? You know, then
yeah,
effect because at least with the statue, it's not as bad cost wise.
that's a good
Um,
point.
you know, like
Well,
these
that's what
ones,
we're planning on doing with the well, that one is just a 3D printed I found.
yeah,
I found that already made, so I could just download the STL and then I printed and painted those myself. I'm having the Big Boy James sculpted, and then I will be 3D printing those. But they weren't going to be ready by the time I was ready to fulfill this campaign, so I'll probably put it on the next campaign.
nice.
Yeah. I love wooden covers. They're so cool.
I do too. That burnt look, you know, the
Yeah.
way.
I have one over here somewhere. Where is it? Here it is. Here's my issue 5. It turned out nice.
It did.
I just love a yeah, full on comic.
And is the back cover wood or is it
No,
just
because I do
paper?
the riddles, so I left
Ah,
that
okay.
as is. It's like you would get like a metal cover. The
Mm,
metal cover is just usually the front.
yeah.
Mhm. So I'll be making these. So exciting.
And I love how this looks, right? Like
Yeah.
you know something bad's gonna happen in this issue.
Poor Jude. I always tease people. I'm like, we kill him off like 3 times. Take that how you want. Here's the
Uh,
beautiful, vicious Big James by
and
Gilbert
there's
Perez. We're gonna make puzzles.
and I think that's kind of a hint what we were talking about earlier, right? Is like, yeah, there's a leftover
Well, and I mean,
skull.
like, you gotta understand that with covers, we can take some artistic liberties. It doesn't mean that that's what she looks like at this point, but
And I like how the eye is just hanging down there right there.
yeah, Gilbert has a thing with eyeballs too. I think it's funny because I do too. I'm like, oh, Ellie's eyeball.
Choose your own. Everybody should have choose your own path.
Everybody should have choose your own path. It's so much fun to walk around the apocalyptic West, run bounties, and you just get killed off in the most gruesome ways. I kill you off lots of times, but the cool part is that you just you pick yourself up and you go do it again.
I just want to live.
Good luck. Did you make it? I was going to say, there's things that you can find in there that I always ask people, like, did you find, did you battle Jane Doe? Like, did you go to the bounty of Jane Doe?
No, not yet.
Okay. Because I have to know if you opened the box. And then did you meet the Skinner?
I'm at the Skinner.
Okay. That's usually a bad day.
It's
And
a bad
then
day.
I was like, did you eat the soup? You said you ate the
Yeah.
soup. There's a bear in there somewhere. There's a swarm of bugs.
Yeah, I did that one.
And then there's an undead tiger in there somewhere.
I got to find that one.
And then at the end, if you make it through to the end, you actually take on a persona of a gunslinger in the Wild West. So it's
Nice.
great. So you got to play it until you win.
I know, but it's like you get started, you start going through it, you're like, oh crap, now I got to start all over.
Yeah,
again.
I like go back. But at least like I made it a save. There's a save point, like a video game. So if you get to the saloon, you run your first bounty, you get back to the saloon. If you die after that, you just go back to the midpoint and then you play on from there. So I don't make you go all the way back to the beginning to start over. Oh, Nathan.
Oh, crap.
There's the mug.
Oh.
Mug is gone.
It's
and
gone?
Then, oh yeah, someone got that like the first 15 minutes. And then this one, the bound book, the Jurassic Park. I started on it, but I haven't gotten very far just because I've been so busy with the campaign, but I ripped the cover off. So you got this one, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I have ideas for this. I want to try foiling the edge.
Okay.
So I'm going to foil it. If that doesn't work, I'll paint it nice, but I have some nice, I like this black and white look, but I think I'm going to switch it around. We're going to do a black cover with white bones and then red letters. I like the red letters. So,
yeah, you go ham with it. You know me.
I was like, I'm just going to do what I'm going to do. And you'll be like, yes, please.
Yes.
By the time I'm done with it, it'll be beautiful. I promise.
Yeah. Yeah, there was only one. And that's why when I saw it, I jumped on it.
Yeah. But I want to do this. I think if I do one campaign, because there's so much other stuff going on, one I can handle. But if I open it up for like 10, that's a lot. You know what I mean? When I do other people's books, like Christopher Brown, I'm not usually live, right? We're usually in art production or I'm in post-production. So like I did 10 books for him, but I wasn't running a campaign at the time. So it was easy for me to handle. You know, it still took time just because the amount of books, but
you know, I've got an old book that I think that you probably be able to do well then.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go dig it out. It's the original The Stand by Stephen King.
Oh.
The first print edition.
Oh my gosh.
And
I think my hands on that.
I think you would do well with that book. So next time I see you, I'm gonna give it to you.
Woo! So excited.
It's old. I mean, it's like old, but I think you'd have fun with that one.
I would definitely have fun with that. Yeah. This is something new I'm trying, these swag bags. I think it's cool. I have so much extra merch at this point where it's like from previous campaigns, if we do like, I don't know, we did a bunch of those acrylic Big James pins, like the big, the Boy Scout shaped ones. But I have a bunch left, maybe a handful, maybe like 12. So not enough to like give to everybody, but I still have some. So I can throw some in some of these swag bags. You know what I mean? So you're going to get just random merch, keychains. And if you get a large swag bag, I have random hats and I have tote bags and zipper pencil bags. And, you know, I just got a ton of stuff. I got earrings because I got Big James paw print earrings. So if you're a lady and you get one of these, you might get some earrings that I haven't released yet. So I just got a bunch of good stuff. Nice. Stickers. I got lots of stickers.
Yeah, those trucker hats are good. I can vouch for those.
Thank you. And there's some of the things that, you know, that are out there. There a lot of if I put it up here, they're in the add-ons. So you can always, you know, go to the add-ons and add like a Lola puzzle or add on a This GIF is terrible. Look at it.
It's a dying.
It's a dying GIF. Oh well. But there's a ton of cool stuff that you can add on, and I'll make sure everybody gets a good smattering of things. Oh, these iron-on patches too. I got a bunch of those. I think I have 2 left of the original patch.
I might have to get one of those to put on my jacket.
Well, you can, let me see. I'll have to go back and find them. They're in the box of merch. And see how many I have left. But I pulled them down off the campaign because I was like, I don't think I have enough of these. So, a hot saucing.
Yep. I got mine the last Kickstarter. It was good. I like the mango.
Yeah.
I like the mango because I always like that little bit of sweet with mine, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Serrano, that was good with eggs.
Yes, that's where I have breakfast burritos, eggs, and throw some meat in there, any kind of meat, and then throw that on top, a little bit of cheese on top. That's what I like.
And I used the path of the pale sauce. That was good for burgers.
Burgers, I like it on chicken and pork. Like pulled pork or ribs. It's really good. Did you get your hands on one of these?
Let's see.
The Jack's Revenge?
No, I did not. I will have to see.
I think I'm gonna have to make more. Now, these ones are special because we did the slice and dice last campaign and we murdered a jackfruit, right?
Oh, yeah.
You guys named it Jack the Ripper and voted on this 2-handed axe, and I destroyed the jackfruit. Well, that's the jackfruit that's in this sauce. It's that jackfruit. So that's why these ones are special, and I saved them for the campaign for the people that actually care. You know what I mean? Because I can make more Jack's Revenge just with a random jackfruit, which is fine. But it's a pain in the butt. Until I tasted it and found out how good it was, and I was just like, okay, we'll be making more of this. So, but that'll take a whole day by itself. I can make the other 3. I can make a single batch of all 3 other flavors in an afternoon. Because I've just, I've done it a million times at this point. But this one's a pain in the buttocks. In fact, I might have to change the price of it just because it takes 3 times as long to make it. But
I would, because we eat jackfruit here at home, right? And and to get it condensed into a water version, like it starts as this big sticky fruit, right? And you got to cut it down, squish
it. The size of a watermelon. Just taking it apart took me 2 hours.
Oh yeah, you got to take it off the even little piece and start peeling it and getting it into strips. Yep. And there's and it's not easy to cut either.
No. Well, mine I just used a 2-handed axe. It came apart great.
Oh yeah, that would.
I highly recommend the axe method if you are going to use a jackfruit.
I have a cleaver that I use.
That's smart. There you go.
All right, stretch goals. We got backer stretch goals.
Yeah, we're at 84 backers, so we'll probably break a poker card next.
Yep.
Is what I'm thinking. So we'll unlock another poker card. We've unlocked 1 poker card and then $1 stretch goal. So we're going to continue breaking stretch goals as we go. We just got to like the first week where it kind of slows down. So I'll be out there pounding the pavement and looking for backers, of course, trying to hit more shows that I haven't been on next week. But yeah, look at that. Isn't that badass?
That is pretty. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Who did that one?
The skull is by David Rodriguez.
David, okay.
Yeah, he's the guy that did the interiors of the Choose Your Own Adventure book. He's done covers for us. He did some of the poker cards, and he did the back, like the back design of the angel demon kind of look. He did that too.
I like that.
Yeah,
like him and Sanchez. I mean, both of those guys do great stuff like that.
Yep. That's the back of the card, of course.
Oh, yeah. Half and half.
Yep. And the symbols.
And let's see. Let's see here.
One of those symbols, actually 2 of those symbols have been introduced. The third has not. Just to let you know.
Mm. Unlocks at $200.
And
Shop
then I
close.
have to update the campaign. We unlocked this. This
Yeah.
is the first of the indie PDF bundles. This is the horror bundle. This is the one I always release first. And then we have like a charter bundle, an ASAP or excuse me, any one world bundle. I get like up to 20 PDFs that will unlock by the end of campaign. It's incredible. It's great. Here's the big boy James, 5,500.
Mm-hmm.
So this will be the next one we unlock, which is I know everybody's gunning for this.
Yes, I need
So
that one.
a 3-inch holographic sticker. Slice and dice at 6,000. We've consistently unlocked this one for a while. I haven't figured out what we're gonna smash yet. What fruit or vegetable?
Mm.
Figure that out.
Oh,
We
I
did
have a
pumpkin. We've done watermelon, pineapple, and jackfruit. What do you got?
durian.
No, I'm not doing a durian. No,
Come on.
no. Someone's gonna call the police because they think I have a dead body in my backyard. I don't want my dog eating it. No, we gotta pick something else.
I'll figure out something.
Yeah.
We always do.
And I'm working on. Someone is working on a weapon. You have to come watch the Tuesday morning brew this week.
Mm.
I have a friend that's coming on. He's a local creator. I don't know if you've met him before. His name is Vaughn Fox. He does the series called Murder Face.
That's
And
it.
he's actually live right now on Kickstarter. I met him at a con. He bought the trade paperback. He loved it, and so he's been kind of like introducing himself. I've been talking. I got to read Murder Face. It's excellent. But he has something in the works for a weapon for me. We'll see if he can pull it off. Because if he does, I'll put it up on for the slice and dice. And I know it's like if I put it up there, it's so ridiculous of a weapon that it'll just win. It's one of those where like she's gonna what? Vote for that, you know? It's if I ever was like, I'm gonna blow it up with a M80, people be like, vote, 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 vote.
Yeah. Because everybody would want to see it explode. Like,
Right.
like I'm thinking like taking a plank, right, and putting nails through it, like a barbaric kind of, tool, and then like
Yeah.
put, something like that. Because it actually is going to make you work to get it done.
Yeah, with nails what'll get stuck is what'll
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
But like baseball bat, I've had the two-handed axe, the modified sledgehammer.
You need,
I got a plethora of.
instead of nails, we could use railroad spike.
Oh God, can you imagine?
That would be fun.
That would be fun. Again, I'd have to be careful. I already destroyed this stool, so I don't know what I'm gonna put it on, but I'll figure it out. Here's those scratch and sniffs. So I definitely want to unlock these. We need to get here because you all want that zombie flesh. Trust
Zombie
me.
flesh. Got to. Come
You're
on now.
just so curious. I'm curious. I know what it smells like, but you all don't. So if we get to 7K, we haven't gotten there quite yet, but we could. I will send everybody these temporary tattoos. We did some before, but these are a little bit different. And I love these. They last for about a week.
Mm.
And when they like, you put them on your skin and they start to like decompose, they start to come off, they turn pink. So it's black, and then it's black with like smattering of pink, and then it's pink with a smattering of black, and then it's pink, and then they come off. They're super cool. So I'm looking forward to those.
Oh, we hopefully we get that.
Now, I don't know if we're going to get to 8, but I have a standalone Big James series that I've written and not produced yet. It's a short, it's 8 pages, but all it is bare destruction. Big James killing people, running through houses. It's just nuts. So if you would like a sneak peek at that, we'll release 2 pages of that. And that's as far as I planned because we've never gotten past 7, let alone 8.
You know what you could do? This is a marketing scheme, I will say. Put it in Choose Your Adventure, Volume 2.
Well, I'm going to release it eventually. What I might do is like release 2 pages in like the issue 6. And if we, I don't know, I could release pages here and there to kind of get people hyped. But I want to do it in its own campaign. Hey. You're smashing 8? You think so? I would love it if you would help me get there. That would be great. I would love to release this
I would
Big
too.
James story. I got more scripts in my brain. I mean, we've talked about Psycho Sal, but I've also written for Big Dog Inc. I've
Hmm.
written for Travis Gibbs and his Cthulhu Invades Fairyland. And
Yeah.
I've written for now Terry Parr and his Gemini Force series. And so that's going to be coming out.
I was going to ask you,
Thank you, Acorn.
when does your book with Tom come out?
It's at the printer. So he's supposed to be
Gotcha.
getting them in any day now. So he
Okay.
should be shipping them out. But that's the Big Dog Inc. Anthology. Their 14-year anthology.
Yeah.
So there's 3 stories in there. I think mine was a whole 10 pages. But it was so great to walk around in his world with this character that he hasn't really written her before. So it's in his world, you know. It'd be like if you created a character and I let you walk around in Path of the Pale Rider with your character.
Yeah.
So,
And that's what I like about Tom. Like Tom and I have been good friends for a while.
yeah.
And every time, like, like reading Marie Antoinette, or you read, the summer series, that he's had, or Legend of Oz, or Shahrazad, like,
Yes.
but, like those kind of stories have their place, but they could like easily be in Zenoscope, right? Because of the way he does his stories. So there's lots of ways to intermix with the big dog stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's the one I was writing in was Legend of Oz.
Mm.
So it's Allison's Wonderland. It's a thing. I don't want to spoil it. It's good. I'm excited to get my copy. You know, it's always exciting to get a new book that has your name on it. Like when I first got Psycho Sal and it said Calcaterra on the cover, I was like, look,
it's real.
It's real. It's a thing, right? So that'll be exciting because 2025, I'll have 3 more books released with my name on it that are not mine. So that's exciting.
Well, you've been doing Psycho Sal for a while.
Yeah. Poor Chris. He wrote 1, 2, and 3. And then they were like, Laurie, you want to write? And I was like, sure. So I wrote 4, 5, and 6, 7, and 8. And then he gets it back at 9. And he's going to be looking around like, where am I? I haven't done this, like that. So he'll have to go back and reread it and just to like get in the mindset. But I was also like, hey, Chris, you owe me. I was like, because I'm going to make you look good.
And the good thing, like, right, is like there are different perspectives in Psycho Sal.
Yes.
Like, and that's what made the series fun. You had the first 3, then the middle 3, and then you're going to have and it's like, holy crap.
And
it combines together and it makes sense.
Yes. And the perspective of Psycho Sal is warped.
Oh, yeah.
We made him just about as warped as you could. And it's funny to me, Nathan, that like here's this ongoing series. And what was it? Issue 7, issue 6. I forget which one. There's one of them where the guys were like, we should probably put a mature rating on this. And I was like, that was me. I did that.
That was 6.
I was like, you guys were like, we're going to write this horror series. And I said, hold my beer. And I finally got a mature rating on it. I was like, yes. Finally pushed it far enough where it made people uncomfortable.
and that's kind of the thing, right? Like Psycho Sal is one of those stories. Like it's like he's not a good guy at all.
No,
there's no anti-hero. There's no he's doing this. No, he is a serial killer, and that's all he thinks about.
Yes,
it's from one victim to the next, and it's like he's not Dexter. He's not doing this, for a good and he's demented as you get, and you kind of wonder sometimes, like, how far is the story going to go? But then, if you think about it, right, like he's more of like an Ed Gein, kind of situation, right? Where yes, he's not eating people, but he is definitely stalking. He's going through all the motion.
There's psychological torture. There's physical torture. He will just break you down to the smallest, lowest place that you could possibly get as a human. He'll take you down to that dark place.
And he still won't kill you at that point.
Maybe he does. Some people he kills right away, and other people he doesn't. So,
Yeah,
but William has let me in a few secrets, so there is a reason why he's doing these things, but it's not my story to tell right now. So we're gonna get there eventually. But Psycho Cell will wrap up with issue number 9 with Chris Hayes at the helm. So
nice.
I'm excited for that to kind of wrap it all up. So.
All right, so let's
Oh,
see.
and I'm gonna let her deputized. That's coming this year too. I'm excited for that.
Ooh,
Yeah. For anybody that is unfamiliar with Path of the Pale Rider, you don't have to show them all these things because it's a lot.
there's a
But
lot.
we
Yeah.
make the back cover of every issue is a riddle. And
Mhm.
so when you finish reading, you can touch the world of Path of the Pale Rider like it's real. So if you solve this riddle, it'll take you to like a hidden group where
Yeah.
other riddle solvers are. And some of the riddles will trigger something to show up in your mailbox from a character. There's hidden videos, there's hidden websites, there's phone numbers to call that work. And so you can like you'll call the number and hear a message from the inside of Path of the Pale Rider. It's all something different, and it's just meant to kind of enhance the experience of the story. And it's a lot of fun. I challenge you to do these because I spent a lot of time working on the answers to these. They're good and they'll make you think. So,
They, yeah, this took me a while.
did you find it?
No,
What?
I was drinking, so it didn't help.
That's the easy riddle. All you have to do is scan QR codes. So it's a scavenger hunt. You just have to scan the right one and it'll take. So most of these will take you to like something on YouTube.
Yeah,
And
it's
it's
a
a good
video.
smattering. There's a Rick roll, there's Train to Busan, there's The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. We have He-Man singing Four Non Blondes. We have gosh, there's so many. There's Attack on Titan, there's Akira. So it's just like it's a walk through Laurie Calcaterra's brain of things that have inspired Path of the Pale Rider from any angle. But one of these videos I put together, and it's the Undead Underground
Mm.
teaching you skills to survive. That's all I'm going to say. Pick me up to call, but hope it's not for you. You are just a number. This one's great. I love this one. This one turned out really good. It's my editor Rachel and her husband helped me with this because he's a tech guy. And so this turned out really good. I needed some technical help. But if you figure it out, call it. It works. And this is of course the last one. I found this anonymous poem online, and it's really poignant if you listen to it, where it's been a while since the last time I saw happiness upon your face. I can feel your heart. I can feel those memories trace. I know it's hard when there's a distance between your soul and your body, but you can't fill this space. Just leave it at that. And then, of course, the short films. These are fun too, and I'm due to make another one when I carve some time out of the space-time continuum. But these explore topics that we don't have time to cover in the comic.
Yeah.
Like A Day in the Life is this nuclear family, mom, dad, 2 boys, and it's their family when the dad dies. You know what I mean? And he, working, and the house is in his name. And what do you do when you lose your half of your income and the bank is calling because they put a lien on your house because the mortgage isn't in your name and undead can't own property? And he starts to sundown. He starts to lose memories. He starts to get violent and he can't remember it. He gets lost, like he'll wander off and then people bring him back home. It's a good look into what a family would go through if one of the family members were undead. And it's interesting to think about. This is the dad, but what if it was one of the kids? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It just changes the dynamic. And that's what these people are going through in this book. So it just makes it, so heartbreaking.
There's our leader.
There's me.
Yeah. All right.
Gilbert,
Gilbert,
wearing his Spider-Man shirt.
of course.
Matt Chambers, colorist extraordinaire, working on
Matt's
like.
been busy, like busy.
I was like, "How many books are you doing?" And he was like, "Enough." I was like, "Oh my god,
Yeah. He was
He's
helping with
he's
Carissa
undeputized
too.
as well. He's undeputized. He does a lot for Charter, but he
Mm,
also has his own series, Fluff's Fury.
mm.
Gosh, he's doing a ton of stuff. And of course, this is our lady that keeps us in check, Rachel Bullock, editor, musical theater fan, and enthusiastic cosplayer.
Nice. As you guys
Hey,
see,
Dwayne
all
Fink
that.
is right. I love that Hourglass Comics. We should probably do a poll on that. I wonder what people think. Is Dwayne right? Does Dwayne know what started the apocalypse, or is just some crackpot and he wanted Jude to get him out of Santa Claus?
And that's the thing, right? Is I kind of think that he is right. He knows nobody's going to listen to him though.
Right.
And he'll be spitting out the truth, and guess what? Ain't nobody gonna listen.
No one will believe him anyway. I do want to say real quick, I will ship to Canadian backers. If you are in Canada and you are interested in backing a physical tier, please just let me know what you are interested in, because I will weigh it and then I will make you a tier with your name on it that has accurate shipping. I don't want to overcharge you, and I can't afford to undercharge you. Shipping is just ridiculous these days. So you have your tinfoil hat tuned into Think of him. That's awesome. There's going to be more from Dwayne Fink. I've been doing those deep thoughts by Dwayne Fink, which are hilarious. And he's a big part of issue number 6. So you're going to see more Dwayne in issue 6 and in future issues. Yeah. He's one of my favorites. So
I like Dwayne. I mean, when you think about like just the two characters, Jude and Dwayne and Big James, like you wonder what would happen if Dwayne saw Big James in person. Like I think he would just
there's a bear.
There's a bear there.
I mean, based off of what he did in 5, where he was like, "That's a giant cloud of bugs," and they were like, "Run, Dwayne!" And he was like, "Okay." Like, he's like, "Are clouds supposed to buzz like that?" No.
Poor guy.
Dwayne's funny. So, but he's also a super interesting character. I will talk more about Dwayne once we get through issue 6.
Yeah.
About what his role is and how he's able to function that way. There's a whole backstory to Dwayne that I can't talk about yet until we get further in the story,
and that's what I was going to say. I think there's a lot more to him than what we're being told, right?
Yes.
It's like his mannerism, his personality might just be for show, right? And like there's a lot going on behind the scenes, right, of his head, of what's going on. Like we've seen people like that in Walking Dead, right? Like they would act, oh, it's okay, everything's fine, and they're like freaked out. They're actually really freaked out in their heads. And maybe Dwayne's that way. Maybe this is his way of coping with that too, right? Like,
his way of coping is to just dunk his liver in a bottle of beer.
He's gonna die anyways. Might as well be happy.
That's what he does. He'll tell you his story if you buy him a drink. Hence Santa Claus. I think really in Santa Claus, that he was their entertainment. You know what I mean? Where they were just like, give him a beer and let him talk, and we'll see how, like, they would push his buttons. Like Jimmy was purposely saying things wrong to him to tick him off, so that he would stand on the table and act crazy. So it's like, that's how they got their kicks, was just feeding him beers and watching him be crazy until he falls on his butt. So
nice.
Yeah.
All right,
more Dwayne coming, Hourglass. You just wait.
I can't wait. So what's next? Other than 6, what's up for you
this year? I would love to wrap it up. So here we're doing 6. If we can get 7 and 8, at least through Kickstarter this year, then we can start next year. We can fulfill 8 and then jump on the next trade paperback, right? Because every 4 we're doing trades. So 5, 6, 7, 8, we'll do the next trade, and then we'll start on the last part of the series. Yeah, I mean 7. 7 is the big one. Let me just give you some insight. So most of the 24-page issues that I do have about 14 pages to lay them out between the action, the description, the dialogue. It's about 14 pages for me to communicate to Gilbert what I want in the issue. Issue number 7 has 7 pages. There's very little dialogue. It is all action. It's all action. And it's absolutely crazy. You guys, it will knock your socks off. It's a huge reveal, like I said, and it'll change everything for Jude St. Clair. 100%. 100% everything changes. So
Jude's gonna die.
I'm not saying, but it's a big deal what's going to happen in 7. So it's an incredible ride. You know, if it was a movie, this would be the scene in the movie that would, you know, that I don't know, it would just take off it takes off, you know what I mean? And so the whole series, it's like, it's been building and building and building, leading to this point. And then what happens after this is an entirely different tone. And then Jude figures out what broke Death, I think in issue 10. And then there's major consequences to him figuring it out. So,
yeah, because I mean, if you think about it, if you are the person that knows what caused all this, what do you do with that knowledge?
What do you do with that knowledge? Someone obviously knows what happened and they're not telling anybody. So if you figure it out, why has someone been keeping it secret? Are you able to fix it if it's possible at all? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then if there's this power working against you, that's all I'm gonna say. It's big. It's big. And then of course I'm going to be doing Comic-Cons. I'm going to be at Texoma this month. So February 22nd and 23rd, I'm going to be in Durant, Oklahoma. I should be signed up for more. I'm not, but you know what? I just kind of wing it right now, but I plan on doing more cons this year. I'm probably traveling a little bit farther. It just depends on where life takes me, you know? I would love to do more anthologies and write for more people, but really what I should do is sit down and write out the script for the 3rd arc is what I should do, because it's all up here right now. And if I die or I get hit by a bus,
at least write the synopsis down.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, right? Because otherwise no one will ever know how this whole thing ends, and it's a big deal. So I would love, you write it on a bunch of blister beetles and send them out into the world to warn people. I don't want to touch no blister beetles. Those things are scary and yucky and gross. So I won't be touching the blister beetles. They're out west, Hourglass. By the way, if you haven't picked up my humor, that's an ongoing joke that I have within the story. Whenever Jude St. Clair asks for directions, it doesn't matter who he asks. They all tell him to go west. They don't. That's it. And it's been going on since issue 1, where they're like, "Where do you go?" They're like, "Go west."
What happens when he ends up in California? There's nowhere else to go. You have to go north, at least at that point. Go to Alaska.
Well, there might be something out there.
Might be a boat.
Maybe he needs to go all the way west to figure it out. You never know. That's where he could be in issue 12.
This is what I was thinking about too. If he does know what broke Death, and he has the opportunity to fix it, would he, knowing what it could cause?
What does it cost?
I mean, because if you think about it, right, if he fixes Death and all these undead people die, right, all the animals die that were undead at this point and everything, what kind of global crisis would that cause as well?
Hourglass is like, well, he'll just keep going west and he'll end up in China. But does fixing it mean immediately all those other things that are undead become dead, or does it mean that he fixed it going forward? What does fixing it mean? You know what I mean? So there's a bunch of different ways. Even if he can't, what if he can't fix it? What if he gets to the end and he figures out we're stuck? You know? And
it could be a scenario, right? Like Walking Dead found out that they were stuck in that scenario.
They can't fix that. Yeah.
The only thing you could do is contain it at that point, right?
They found out at the CDC, not only can you not fix it, but everybody is already contaminated.
Everybody's going to happen. So it's like, okay, you just got to live with the way it is, and
Right.
and coexist. But you know what? It's a lot different coexisting when somebody who still knows what they are versus someone that wants to eat me.
Right. That's easy if you can put them down, right? But
Yeah.
in this one, you can't.
No, they don't
And
come.
they try though, because there's some idiot that's like, I've seen this in a movie. I'm just going to shoot him in the head, right? And
And
that
they're just
makes it
like,
worse
yeah,
because that undead person now has less of their brain functioning and is going to
keep attacking.
who knows what they're going to do? Who knows? Who knows? They could become more chaotic because they have less of their brain. So you never know. So yeah, there's good plot points coming, and we're getting into that nitty gritty. We're getting into a lot of the answers. We're getting into that part where Jude, they go feral like Fallout, right?
Yep. Yep.
And that's why I kind of claim Fallout as an influence. I love Fallout. I've played all of them except for that multiplayer one online. That 76. I haven't played that.
Yeah, I didn't play that one.
Wasn't interested, but I've played them all. And it's like that. Don't trust anybody. Scrape together what you can, to survive. You could be good or bad. But yeah, the feral ghouls, like you can have ghouls that are good and cognizant. You can have ghouls that lose their mind. That's kind of our undead, where it's like they're undead and they could be friendly. They could be undead and work with you. They could be undead and be feral and try to you could be Lola and be like, I don't like you. I'm going to shoot you in the face.
Yeah. I don't like you. Just go away.
Yeah, you're not. Well, and her whole thing is that we're on opposite sides, but if I take away your heartbeat, you're now on my side.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to, we're not going to debate whether who gets rights or who's right or wrong. I'm just going to turn you into one of us, and now you're on our side. That's how she thinks. And she blames Jude for that.
Yeah.
So
Lola
miniseries when her arc is actually in the next Choose Your Own Adventure book too. I don't name her, but one of the characters that you can walk around as and choose the path is actually Lola. Mm-hmm.
Now with volume 2, does that connect directly back to volume 1?
It's actually it's completely different.
Oh damn it, I gotta start all over.
Yeah, no. So I want them all to be standalone because I'm going to move you around in time so you can experience different parts of path, right? Because volume 1 is like you're smack dab in the apocalyptic West. You're in that 10-year after the apocalypse time period. Things are already bad. Yeah. Volume 2 starts you out in the fall. So death is missing, but not everybody's experienced it yet. And so you're kind of learning about it firsthand with some of the chaotic things that happen. And you have to make choices. Like I said, there's Nana in her robe wandering around in traffic. You have to make decisions whether you're going to help undead, hide undead. You know what I mean? Or you do look the other way. And so it's hard. There's like ethical questions. But one of the paths is Lola. So she's in there. But I haven't finished it yet, so don't come for me. But that one is called Don't Panic.
How do you not panic?
It's great because I think there's more than one page where you flip to her. It's like, don't panic. And then it gives you options.
Go left, go right. If you go left too far, you're dead.
Well, it's like, do I open the
door?
The options. I forget where it's like panic and open the door and run out into traffic, or like don't panic, turn your car around and drive the other way. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So it's like, don't panic. And then you turn the page and it says, don't panic at the top. And then it's like a whole new crisis for you to panic about. So I'm about halfway done with that one. I got started. I was inspired. I wrote a bunch and then I put it down for a little bit because I wanted to figure out how the second half goes. Because it's one of writing Choose Your Own Adventure books are freaking hard. You have all these
people don't make
paths.
those anymore. I remember when I was a kid when those came out. And you'd find that book, you'd go through it, and it would take you a day. You would read like up and down trying to figure it out, but then at the end you'd still die or you'd get lost. Like it's like playing the Oregon Trail, right? Which is always fun. Oh, I died from dysentery. Oh,
I
Your
don't use
daughter
twine.
dies.
That's hilarious. But it looks like that because I will brainstorm it on a big old pad of paper where I'll start here and then I'll like brainstorm an idea and that one has 3 legs and then each one of those has a bunch of legs and then and this one dies. Hourglass our volume 1 of Choose Your Own Path is on the campaign. So if you don't have that yet, I recommend it. Nathan recommends it because he's done it and it's a wild ride. So
yeah, definitely go do it. It's fun, and actually go do it with your kids. Actually, because I mean, it's even fun. I mean,
depends on how gory you want to read to them because some of them you get
wow,
skinned.
my kids are kind of desensitized. So
All right. I was like, there's one where you end up as a head on top of a rock.
I want to get to that one.
I think that's one of the Skinners.
Mm.
The feral dogs. There's bunch of weird stuff that happens with the feral dogs. It's not what you think.
Sweet.
Oh yeah, we got slavery in there. I think we got like what do they call it? Showdown at the
like corral.
Yeah, we have like moments like that. Yeah, there's a ton of good stuff in there. You might become undead and you can keep going as an undead character.
I did that one.
Did you?
Good. Yeah.
Thank you. Hourglass, thank you. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Those are fun. I'm going to do more for sure. I'm going to finish. I need to finish Don't Panic. It's one of those like, but you got to run a campaign and you got to do this and you got to write for Terry and we need to take your kids to band practice. And
I know all about that one. We've got so many extracurriculars with our kids. Like,
yeah, well,
who's doing what now?
Yeah, who's doing what? Where am I taking you? Okay. But I feel like I could probably take my iPad in the car and write. I'm going to be spending a lot of time in the car just waiting. So car line. Maybe that'll be my writing time is in the car.
That's part of your volume 2. Get stuck in the car line forever.
That'll be like one of the dead ends where you sit in the car line at school and you wait forever. Start over. Damn it.
Damn it the hell.
All right. Goodness.
So everybody, I'm going to put the link to the Kickstarter here in the comments. Everybody go join it. And if you've not joined it, you are wrong. Period.
You are wrong. He said.
You are wrong.
I appreciate that. I mean, I work hard to make it a great experience for everybody. We're on a wild ride, and now is a great place to start because you will be objectively wrong. Because this 1 through 6 is what you want to read so that you are prepped for issue 7. Issue 7 is a roller coaster. It's a knockout. It's Mike Tyson on steroids driving the Millennium Falcon. We're going to knock the crap out of you at the next issue. Not that this issue isn't good, but it sets it all up. So you gotta be there. You gotta be there. Go get a hot sauce, put some spice in your life, pick up a comic, add a hoodie. Dude, we want to get to those scratch and sniff stickers, right?
We do. We got to get to the scratch and sniff, at least at the minimum. If not, the big one. I want the sticker.
Yes. Well, we're gonna get that for sure. That's coming. We still got 20 days left, so we're gonna get to 5,500. Not too long, but we get to 65.
All right, where can they find you at, Laurie?
I'm everywhere. I'm on Facebook, Instagram. I'm on X. My X handle is Pale Rider. I'm on Threads. I'm on Blue Sky. Is that all? I'm on TikTok. Yeah, I host the Tuesday Morning Brew every Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I interview other indie creators. I also host a show on Wednesdays called the Any One World Showcase. Any One World, the letter N, the letter E, the number 1. Any One World is a branch of ASAP Imagination, which is my publisher for the trade paperbacks. So I'm there every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Every other Friday, I have this intentional dumpster fire of a show called Killer Karen. Feel free to turn into there to watch me insult creators while still promoting their stuff. They have to battle Killer Karen. That one just played tonight, and I feel really bad for that creator. He had no idea what I had in store for him when he came on. Yeah, that was funny. But yeah, I'm around. Feel free to reach out, join my group, Path of the Pale Rider. That's where we do the fun stuff. It gets the first updates. We do the polls. You get to name undead dogs and pick out weapons for me to smash jackfruits. Mm-hmm.
And I just put the link down in the comments down
Yes,
below for the group chat.
that's the group you want to be in. That one for sure.
You got to be in that group. That's where you're going to get to see everything. That's where it's kind of nice too, because you get to see a little bit of, like, I'm not going to say sneak peeks, but I'm going to say you get some like notices, right? Of like things, of things. So definitely go join the group.
And they get the first perks. So like I added prints and I added laser engraved art from the stuff that Gilbert did, the Big Jude and the Vicious Big James. And those are limited to 12. So I released them into the group first before I did the update to the Kickstarter. And then I put them out to all the other just to social media. But those guys are special to me. They follow along, so they get first dibs in that group. So you belong. Come along.
You got to come join. We got 664 people as of today. We want more.
We need 2 more just to mess with people.
I know, right? I gotta find 2 more. That's going to be my job in life for the next day.
Yeah, I'll go invite some people. You're like, oh no,
we are of the devil now.
Oh no. Someone will drop out just because. No, sorry.
Don't drop out. Don't drop out, please.
Thanks for having me on the show, Nate. I always appreciate you giving me a platform to come promote and hang out and talk about my nerdy Western apocalypse series.
I always have fun because it's, I love the story. I support you guys. I've been a long supporter of Charter for years and years, even before I moved here, right? Like I've been with Charter for a long time. And when you brought your first issue out, I jumped on that and been on the ride ever since then. So thank you for a great story and keep us in fun, having fun.
And thank you for your support this whole way. I really appreciate you and everybody that comes along for this crazy ride, because you guys ensure that I can continue telling my story. It's a big deal to be able to do that.
All right. Well, thank you, my dear. And thank you, everybody out there in YouTube land. You guys have a great night and have a good weekend. Go do something fun.
Do something fun.
All right. Take care, everybody. Bye.